So this would be the standard form of a first order linear differential equation. So that is a sub 1 times x plus b sub 1 times y plus c sub 1. So dx plus a sub 2x plus b sub 2y plus c sub 2 dy is equals to 0. So this can easily be distinguished. Okay, so all the variables, whether that's the dependent variable or the independent variable, so the highest degree will only be 1. Okay, so as you can see here, x is raised to 1, y is raised to 1 as well. So there's a possibility that we have a constant, or it could be the constant could be 0. So as long as the differential equation is a linear equation, so we can classify them into two. Okay, so whether, let's say this one forms, okay, so this one forms a linear equation or a linear function, and then the function multiplied with dy is another linear function as well. So relating the two, okay, so it could be possible that the two functions are non-parallel. Okay, it would be possible that two functions are parallel. Okay, so how do I identify so whether the functions are or will form a parallel line or it will form an intersecting line? So for non-parallel lines or intersecting line, so we get the ratio of the coefficient of x and y, and then we'll try to get the ratio as well of the coefficient of x for the second linear function, so to that of the coefficient of y as well. If the two ratios are not equal, okay, so then that is considered as non-parallel lines. So those are non-parallel lines, or those are lines which intersect with each other. So our assumption then is, so we need to get the point of intersection of the two lines. So get the point of intersection. That point of intersection, so through substitution or through elimination method, so we'll be able to get the points of intersection with h as the x coordinate and then k as the y coordinate. So the substitution that we're going to use then would be, we're going to let x to be equal to u plus h, okay, or that would be the x coordinate. And for y, that is y is equals to v plus k. So we're in k is the y coordinate. And then, of course, we derive. So we derive x as dx, u as du, so y as dy, and v as dv. So after knowing our substitution, okay, or the parameters that we're going to substitute, so it will transform. Okay, so it will transform then our equation into a homogeneous equation. So later on, we'll try to see so how or how do we check? Okay, so whether what we're doing is correct or not. Okay, so that's our for case one. Case one is our intersecting lines. Okay, so two linear functions. Okay, so which intersect with each other. So our first step is to find the point of intersection, and then we made some assumption. So for the values of x and y. So the second case would be if it is parallel lines, if the two ratios are equal with each other. So we get the two ratios again. So if those are equal, then those are non-parallel lines. So our assumption then so would be W is equals to AX plus BY. Okay, so since the ratio of the coefficients are equal, then we can find a common factor for the two linear functions. And then the common factor is the one that we're going to set. Okay, so as the value for W. So pwede siyang W could be equal to X plus Y, W could be X plus 2Y, or W could be 3X plus Y. So it depends. Okay, so it depends on what is common to the both functions. Okay, and then afterwards we derive. So that is for case 2. So comparing the two, so case 1 will have a longer solution as compared to case 2. So much shorter solution in case 2 as compared to case 1. So let's have an example. So example number 1, so we have y minus 2 dx minus x minus y minus 1 dy is equals to 0. So these are linear functions. Okay, so for the functions of m and for the functions of n. So linear function siya because this is y. So with the power of 1, this is x with the power of 1, with this y with the power of 1. So the highest power is 1, so therefore that makes it a linear function. But as you can see here, this is a non-homogeneous equation. So why is it a non-homogeneous equation? Because we have a constant. So constant, the degree is 0. Okay. Actually, this could be an x raised to 0 or a y raised to 0. So x raised to 0 is 1, right? Y raised to 0 would be 1 as well. So in this case, it's a non-homogeneous equation. It's non-homogeneous equation because of the presence of the constant. Okay? Kaya ang gagawin natin dito is we're going to find the point of intersection, and then our objective here is to remove the presence of the constant. Okay, so to transform it into a non-homogeneous, or to transform it into a homogeneous equation. So how do we do that? So we're going to form two equations, two linear equations. So the first one would be coming from the m function. That would be y minus 2. That would be equal to 0. Then the other equation, or the linear equation, that would be x minus y minus is equals to 0. So you don't need to distribute the sign. Okay? So kahit matira yung sign dito, it's fine. Okay? So our first function is y minus 2, and then our first equation is y minus 2. The other equation is x minus y minus 1 is equal to 0. So we are to find its point of intersection. So how do we do that? So for the first equation, easily, so y will be equal to 2. Okay, so y will be equal to 2, and therefore, so that would be our k. Okay, so for the y coordinate. And then since we already have y, so we can get the value of x. So x would be transpose y as plus y, and then plus 1. And then we substitute y, so which is 2. So 2 plus 1. So x would be equal to 3. Okay. So that's what is our point of intersection. So the point of intersection then so would be 3 for our x, and then 2 for our k. Okay. So that is the hk. So 3 and 2. So now, so we're going to let, yung kanina, ano yan? So let x is equals to u plus h. So let x is equals to u plus 3. And then let y is equals to v plus k. Okay. So v plus k, so that would be v plus 2. So x is equals to u plus 3, and then y is equals to v plus 2. So we derive x, so to be equal to du, and then we derive y, so that would be equivalent to dv. And now, so we have our assumption for the values of x and y, so we substitute. So we have y minus 2, so y natin is v plus 2, so we have v plus 2, and then that is for y, then minus 2, then our dx is du, minus our x, so it's x, which is u plus 3, and then minus y, so minus y is v plus 2, and then minus 1. dx or dy is the same as dv. It's equals to 0. So after substituting, so we can see here that 2 minus 2 will be 0, and then distribute this one here and there. So that would make it negative 2, no? So 3 minus 2 minus 1. So 3 minus 2, it's 1, then 1 minus 1 will be 0. So what happens here? So we remove the constant. If our substitution or our assumption for the values of x and y are correct, so definitely all of the time, so the constants will be canceled out. So transforming the linear equation in two variables into a homogeneous equation. In this case, so that will become v du minus u minus v dv is equals to 0. Okay? So v du minus minus u minus v dv is equals to 0. So this time around, this is a homogeneous equation. Diba? So this is homogeneous equation. This is power 1, power 1, power 1. So the homogeneous equation, the degree of homogeneity is 1. Okay? Degree of homogeneity, which is 1. So now, we're going to transform this one into a separable equation, no? So since this is homogeneous equation, so we follow the method for homogeneous equation, and from there, uh, we're going to separate. Okay, so this one will become a separable equation. So ngayon, ang substitution natin, bago na, no? So dati kasi we're using, so let x is equals to vy, or let y is equals to vx. But then we already use the variable u and v. Okay, so we already used the u and v. So therefore, we're going to introduce new variable. So this time, I'm going to let, so mas simple yung sa du. Okay, so mas konti yan. So I'm going to let u to be equal to zv. Okay, so this is our second assumption. So let u is equals to zv. Then we derive it. So z dv, product rule, plus v dz. And this time, so we substitute. So v is still v. And then du will be z dv plus v dz. And minus our u is zv minus v, and then dv is equals to 0. So after substitution, so in homogeneous equation, so it's the degree of homogeneity is 1. So therefore, we're expecting that there will be a variable whose power is 1 that will be canceled out from the equation. So in this case, I can factor out v here, no? So v dz minus v, so z minus 1. So z minus 1 dv is equals to 0. So since, yun nga, no? So lambda is equals to 1. So multiplying everything by 1 over v. So magka-cancel lahat yun. V, v, and v. So leaving us to have, so yun na, no? z dv plus v dz. Then we distribute negative z dv to negative and negative 1 plus dv is equals to 0. So z dv plus v dz minus z dv plus dv is equals to 0. As you can see here, we have z dv minus z dv, so that will be 0. So anong natira? v dc plus dv. And remember, so we use separable equation, di ba? Kasi yun yung idea ng homogeneous. So pag nag-substitute tayo, it will transform the homogeneous equation into a separable equation. So we write dz. So since ang kasama niya, it's v, so we retain v. And then plus dv is equals to 0. But because of this v, so kung isa-separate natin yan, bababa siya. So it will become dv over v. So making it a separable equation, dz, okay, plus dv over v. And afterwards, so we can now integrate. So since we were able to separate it already. So dz, so integral is z, and then the integral of dv over v is ln v is equals to c. But then, so we have some substitution that we've done before. So but, that is our assumption, u is equals to zv. So therefore, it follows that z is equals to u over v. So we substitute. So z is u over v, then plus ln v is equals to c. So we remove the fraction, we multiply everything by v. So this would be u plus v ln v is equals to cv. But then u and v are not our original variables. Okay, so our originals in terms of x and y. So we have x is equals to u plus 3, and then y is equals to v plus 2. But x is equals to u plus 3, and y is equals to v plus 2. So therefore, it follows that u is equals to x minus 3, and then v is equals to y minus 2. So we substitute. Sir, kailan lang po mag-exponential both sides po doon sa after mag-integrate ng separable? Okay. So usually, nag-exponential tayo if there are more than one ln. Yung pwede natin silang pagsamahin. For example, in this case kasi isa lang yung ln natin. Okay? Kaya pabayaan ko na i-substitute kagad. Pero kung dalawa yan, okay, or more, so pwede natin silang pagsama para mas simplified siya. Pero again, it doesn't matter naman. It's just an expression of your final answer. So I keep on telling you na kahit pag nag-exam naman kayo, regardless, whatever or how you express your final answer, as long as it is correct, I'm going with it. Okay? Ang ano lang, kapag multiple choice, na kung ano yung nasa choices, so yun yung ipa-follow nating format. Okay? Pero kung walang choices, so regardless, kung paano nyo sa express, so okay tayo doon. As long as, of course, you were able to substitute it going back to the original variables. So in this case, so yung u natin is x minus 3, and then plus v. Ang v natin is y minus 2. So ln y minus 2 equals to c y minus 2. So kung ginawa nyo siyang puro exponential, ginawa nyo siyang exponential, it's fine. As long na tama naman yung ginawa mo. Okay? Question. So kung dalawang times ka nag-substitute for your assumption, then 2 times ka rin na kailangan mo siyang ibalik. So dapat babalik siya dun sa original variables mo. No questions? We'll proceed. For our second example, so what case is this? Is it case 1 or case 2? By the way, bigla ko na lang sinolve ito na case. So this one pala is case 1, no? Kasi kung titingnan natin ito, so di ba we have A1 over B1, is it equal to A2 over B2, no? So ang A1 natin, the coefficient of y is 1. Coefficient of, sorry. Wala tayong x, no? So coefficient of x is 0. Then coefficient of y is 1. So is it equal to A2? Coefficient is 1. Ito yun. And then this one is negative 1. Ito naman. So making it to be 0 as not equal to negative 1. So therefore, it is case 1. Okay. Makikita mo naman. Tignan mo lang kung case 1 or case 2 siya. So sa number 2, so ganun ulit, no? So A1 over B1, so is it equal to A2 over B2? So ang A1 natin is the coefficient of x, which is 2. B1 natin, coefficient of y, numerical coefficient, so which is -1. And then A2 is 4. Then B2 is 1. And as you can see here, -2 is not equal to 4. So therefore, it is case 1 as well. So if it is case 1, we proceed to the point of intersection. So sa point of intersection natin, so we have 2x, right? So 2x minus y is equal to 0. Tapos yung isa, so 4x plus y minus 6 is equals to 0. So by elimination method, so since yung y is negative and positive, so we add. Yes, sir. Case 1 po ata ulit, sir, the equal ratio sa number 2. Okay. Yes. So case 1 ulit. So we add, okay? So we add this one, so to eliminate y. So 2x plus 4x, that would be 6x. Then negative y plus y will be 0. Then we bring down -6. So magiging siyang 6x. So transpose -6. So therefore, x is 1. Okay? So x is 1. And then, so we get the value of y. So yung una na lang yung gagamitin natin. So 2x minus y is equals to 0. So 2x is equals to y. Or simply, y is equal to 2 times 1, or y is equals to 2. So ang point of intersection natin will be, so 1 and 2. So anong assumption natin yan? So we let x to be equal to u plus 1. So dx is equals to du. And then we let y to be equal to v plus 2. And then dy is equals to dv. X plus 1 or u plus 1. And then v plus 2. So again, makikita mo to kung tama yung gagawin mo pag na-eliminate mo yung mga constants. Kasi pag hindi mo siya nagawang homogeneous equation, ibig sabihin mali yung assumption mo for the values of x and y. Okay, so take note of that. So lagi siyang magiging homogeneous. So we substitute. So we have 2. Ang x natin is u plus 1 minus y. Ang y natin is v plus 2 dx. So that will be du plus 4. Ang x natin is u plus 1 and plus y. So plus v plus 2, then minus 6. So this one will become dv is equals to 0. And then, so we distribute. So 2u plus 2 minus v plus 2 du. And plus 4u plus 4 plus v plus 2 minus 6 dv is equals to 0. So after doing that, so tingnan mo yung mga constant. This would be 2. Bakit mali ito? Okay, so ito, di ba? So anong mali ko? So wala akong parenthesis dito. Okay? So it should be 2x minus v plus 2. So it will become, so dun, oh, di ba? So dun ko na-detect na mali yung ginawa ko. Kasi hindi ko na-eliminate yung constant. Okay? So dapat ma-eliminate siya. So 2 minus 2 will be 0. And then 4 plus 2 is 6 minus 6. So 4 plus 2 is 6 minus 6 will be 0. So this time it will become a homogeneous equation. So that is 2u minus v du, then plus 4u plus v dv is equals to 0. So 2u minus v du plus 4u plus v dv is equal to 0. So now, we're going to let again. Kasi ano na to, homogeneous, no? So parehas lang naman yung which is simpler, the m function or the n function? Pares lang, kasi both are in two terms. So, u na lang ang gagamitin ko. So, let u is equals to zv. So, du natin is zdv plus vdz. So, zdv plus vdz. So, 2u. So, 2, ang u natin is zv. So, zv minus v du and plus, sorry, may du pala tayo. Du is zdv plus vdz and plus 4u, so 4zv plus v dv is equals to 0. Okay, so 2zv minus v zdv plus vdz plus 4zv plus v dv. So medyo mahaba to, no? So ako usually doon ako nagkakamali pag humahaba na, no? Pero again, remember, so ang degree of homogeneity nito is 1. Right? So 1, 1, 1, 1. Lagi namang 1. Okay? Ang ano siya, no? Linear equation. So degree of homogeneity is 1. So ang ipapactor out natin dito will be V. So matira would be 2Z minus 1. Then ZdV plus VdZ. Then plus, ito, factor out ang V. So 4Z plus 1 dV is equals to 0. So multiplying everything by 1 over V, so that would cancel out that, including this. So leaving us to have, yun na lang, no? So yung 2Z minus 1, ZdV plus VdZ, 4Z plus 1 dV. So kung mapapansin mo dito, ang parehas lang is ito, no? dV so dV, ito lang parehas dyan. dV. Oh. So kaya ang gagawin ko, itong dalawang ito, I'm going to distribute it here. Tapos yung dalawang yon i-distribute ko dito. So yung una, so yung sa first term muna, no? Yung ZdV, distribute natin sa 2Z minus 1. Okay, so it will become, so 2Z times Z is 2Z squared dz or dv. So yung first term muna, z times 2z is 2z squared. And then z times negative 1, negative z dv. Kaya lang yung pangalawang term, so since wala naman akong i-combine, so hindi ko siya i-distribute. So I'll start with the first term, so plus v, and then multiply ko siya dun sa dalawa, which is 2z minus 1, then multiply it with dz. Okay? So hindi ko siya dinistribute kasi nga wala naman siyang magko-combine. So hindi kamukha nito, so may magko-combine dito, no? So 4z dv then plus dv is equal to 0. So dito kasi may similar term, no? This is negative z dv. This is positive 4z dv. So it will become then, so factor out ko na lang yung dv. So that will become 2z squared. And then negative z plus 4z, that would be plus 3z. And then lastly, yung dv, that would be plus 1. Multiply it with dv. Okay? So this is what I did. So I'll start with the 2z squared. And then negative z plus 4z is positive 3z. And then the dv, so would just be 1. So leaving us to have 2z squared plus 3z plus 1 dv. And then, yung sa v natin, so plus v, 2z minus 1, dz is equals to 0. So next, so ito, puro siya z, no? Tapos kasama niya is v. So ito yung lilipat. Kasi separable equation na siya. Ito naman, 2z minus 1 dz, so ang lilipat is yung v. Okay, so since siya yung hindi kamukha. So what will happen then will be dv over v and then plus 2z minus 1 all over 2z squared plus 3z plus 1 dz is equals to 0. So now it is a separable equation. So ganun lang, di ba? So first step, transform it into homogeneous. So once it is homogeneous, so another transformation, it will become a separable equation. So now that it is a separable equation, so we do the integration. So dv over v is ln. How about the second term? So what do you suggest as our methods of solution for this one? 2z minus 1 all over 2z squared plus 3z plus 1. Hindi pwede ang ln dito, no? Kasi ang u natin is 6z plus 3. Okay, so what we have is minus 1. So kung 2z plus 1, sana siya. What do you suggest as our methods of solution? We're going to divide. Remember, when we are dividing, so the degree of the numerator should be greater or equal to the degree of the denominator. But in this case, mas mataas yung degree ng denominator sa numerator. So, hindi natin siya pwedeng i-divide. So, dapat laging equal or mas mataas ang degree ng numerator sa denominator bago natin siya i-divide. So, what else? So, hindi pwede ang ln, hindi pwede ang division. Try factoring out. Okay, so factor out natin yung sa denominator. Okay? So, anong factor nung sa denominator? Siyempre, isa lang factor ng 2. 2 and 1. So, 2z and z. 1. And then 1. So, paano tayo magkakaroon din ng plus 3z? So, that would be plus 1 and plus z. We'll have 2z plus 1 and z plus 1. So, sa gitna, z plus 2z, that would be 3z. dz is equals to 0. Okay. So, since na-factor out na natin siya, what's our next move? Anong integration technique ang gagamitin natin? Integration by partial fraction. Okay, very good. So we're going to do partial fraction. So separate ko muna siya. So remember that we'll have 2z minus 1. So divide it with 2z plus 1 times z plus 1. So yung first factor niya is 2z plus 1 then plus z plus 1. So linear ito. So linear din yung z plus 1. Then, so we get what's the value of A and what's the value of B. So we multiply everything by 2z plus 1 and z plus 1. So may eliminate yung denominator. So I'll just have 2z minus 1 is equals to A. So 2z plus 1 will be cancelled out. So matira would be z plus 1. Then plus B, z plus 1. So let's have 2z plus 1. So if I want to eliminate B, what should be the value of z? When z is equals to what? Okay, so to eliminate B, para makuha natin yung A. B will be What are we going to substitute with z to eliminate b? So, very good. Negative 1/2. So I'll have them. So z should be negative 1/2. So when z is negative 1/2, so dito sa left side, so 2z minus 1. Negative 1/2 times 2 will be negative 1. Negative 1 minus 1 will be negative 2. Okay? So negative 1/2 times 2, it's dito tayo So negative 1/2 times 2, it's negative 1. Minus 1, that would be negative 2. And then for A naman, so A, tapos yun, negative 1/2 plus 1, that would be positive 1/2. Then cross multiply natin yon. So sa B pala, so negative 1/2 times 2, it's negative 1 plus 1, that will be 0. And from there, so we can say that our A will be equal to negative 4. So negative 2 divides negative or positive 1/2 will be negative 4. Okay. So how about for B? So how do we, what should be the value of A? A or Z should be negative 1. So negative 1, negative 2 times negative 1, or 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, minus 1 is negative 3. And then negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So B will be negative 1 times 2, it's negative 2, plus 1, it's negative 1. So B is positive 3. Okay, thank you. Positive 3. So we now have B, so which is positive 3. So ayan, ibabalik na natin siya dun sa separable equation natin. No? It will become dV over V. And then, so since positive yung 3 sa B, so unahin ko na yung B. So that would be plus. So ang B natin is 3 over, so Z plus 1. Then minus 4 over 2Z plus 1. Okay, so 3 over Z plus 1. And then minus 4 over 2Z plus 1. And then that would be dz is equals to 0. So ito, pwede na natin siyang integrate. So dv over v will be ln v. And plus z plus 1, that would be 3 ln z plus 1. And then ito, meron tayong minus 4. Tapos 2z plus 1. So that would be 2z dz or 2dz. So meron tayong sobrang 2. Kaya may neutralizing factor tayo na 1/2. Okay? So 1/2 ln 2z plus 1. Kung gusto mo siyang idiretso, pwede rin. Is equals to c. So ln v plus 3 ln z plus 1 minus 2 ln 2z plus 1 is equals to c. ln z plus 1 minus 2 ln. Okay? And then, so sabi ko nga, so more than, or tatlo na yung ano natin, no? ln. So we combine them into 1. Pero before doing that, so we need to make this one as z plus 1 raised to 3, then minus ln 2z plus 1 raised to 2 equals to c. And combining them into a single ln function, so that would make it ln, so v times z plus 1 raised to 3 all over 2z plus 1 raised to 2 is equals to c. Exponentiate both sides, so leaving us to have v z plus 1 raised to 3 all over 2z plus 1 raised to 2 is equals to c. So now, ginamit kasi natin sa u, so u is equals to zv. But u is equals to zv. So therefore, it follows that z is equals to u over v. So we substitute. So v, and then ang z natin is u over v plus 1 raised to 3 all over, ito ganun din, 2 z is u, so 2u over v plus 1 raised to 2 is equals to c. Then we combine. So v, LCD nito, v, so u plus v, then cube. Dito naman, so v din siya, so 2u plus v squared is equals to c. And then, this is v. Ito, separate ko, no? I-distribute ko yung cube. So, u plus v raised to 3 all over v cube. And all over 2u plus v raised to 2 over v squared is equals to c. So, ito, v cube, that would become v squared. Tapos v squared, it will be cancelled out. So, leaving us to have u plus v raised to 3 all over 2u plus v raised to 2 is equals to c. Or u plus v raised to 3 is equals to c 2u plus v squared. But that is x. Buta ko na. Ang haba eh, no? X is u plus 1 and then y is b plus 2. X is equals to u plus 1 and y is b plus 2. So therefore, u is x minus 1 and then v is y minus 2. So we substitute for u as x minus 1 and then plus v plus y minus 2 cube equals to c. And then we'll have 2 and u natin is x minus 1 and then plus v plus y minus 2 raised to 2. So this would become x plus y. So minus 1 minus 2 is minus 3 raised to 3. And then c times, so this would be 2x negative 2. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Minus 2, it's negative 4 raised to 2. And that's how we find the final answer. So x plus y minus 3 raised to 3 is equals to c 2x plus y minus 4 raised to 2. So procedural ito, but yun nga. So you need to be very careful. So in finding the solution or solving it, no? Medyo mahaba siya. Ang simple lang ng equation, pero mahaba siya. Okay. So we're still good. So we proceed with our third example. Okay, so case 2. Eto. Look at this. So diba we have A1 over B1. So is it equal to A2 over B2? So A1, the coefficient is 1. B1, coefficient is 1 as well. So dito, coefficient ng A2 is 2. Coefficient ng Y is 2 as well. So ratio nito, 1 over 1 is 1. And then 2 over 2 is 1 as well. So 1 is equals to 1. So therefore, it is case 2. So remember, in case 2, dapat equal, including the sign. Okay? So dapat kung negative 1 yon is equals to negative 1 as well. If 1 is positive, the other is negative, hindi pa rin yun equal. Okay? So meron pa rin siyang point of intersection. Pero kung equal sila numerically, so including the sign, then that makes it case 2. So ayan, if it is case 2, so ang ibig sabihin nito, ang case 2 kasi may common. Okay? So let's say I'm going to rewrite this one. This is x plus y minus 1 dx. Pero pagdating dito kasi look at this. This is 2x plus 2y. Okay, so there's something common, so which is 2. So we need to factor out that first. So 2 times x plus y plus 1, multiply it dy is equals to 0. So x plus y minus 1 dx plus 2 times x plus y plus 1 dy is equals to 0. So as you can see now, ano yung parehas sa kanila? So parehas na sila, x plus y and x plus y. So kung ano yung common, so yun yung assumption natin yan. So we're going to let w to be equal to x plus y. So w is equals to x plus y. So what is common? Okay. So common is x plus y. So afterwards, so we derive, so dw, so dx plus dy. So dw, so dx plus dy. And as you can see here, pipili tayo ngayon. It's either, ang papalitan natin is dx or dy. Okay, so usually, ayaw natin magkaroon ng fraction dito. So since wala naman fraction, so either, kahit palitan mo dx or dy. Pero ang gagawin ko na lang would be dx. It will become dw minus dy is equals to dx. So palitan natin yung x plus y. X plus y is w. Then minus 1. So dx is dw minus dy. Then plus, so ito may 2, di ba? So 2 times x plus y. So that makes it 2w. And then plus 1 dy is equals to 0. So kamukha nung kanina, so ang common lang dito is dy, no? Pare silang may dy, so kaya pabayaan ko lang yung w minus 1 times dw. So itong dalawang ito, multiply ko sa dw. Yung pangalawa, ito naman. So w minus 1 times dw, yung pangalawa would be w times negative dy will be negative w dy. And negative 1 times negative dy, that would be positive dy. Then plus 2w dy, and then plus dy is equals to 0. Okay? So negative w dy plus dy plus 2w plus dy equals to 0. So now, we combine. So w minus 1 dw. So ito naman. So negative w dy plus 2w dy would be positive w. And then yung isa, dy plus dy, that will be 2. So plus 2. And multiply it with dy is equals to 0. So now, it is separable. Okay? So ang case 2, isa lang yung tawag natin dito. Isa lang ang substitution niya. So right away, it's already a separable equation. So w minus 1 dw, okay na, no? So yung dy, may sobra siyang w plus 2. So yun yung i-divide natin. So w minus 1 over w plus 2 dw plus dy is equals to 0. So w minus 1 over w plus 2 dw plus dy is equals to 0. So ito naman yung case na, yun na, di ba? Equal na yung numerator sa denominator. So we can divide. Pwede naman using long division. Pero ang pinakamadali would be, so tingnan mo yung sa baba. So yung sa baba, di ba, W plus 2? So I'm going to write this one, W plus 2 over W plus 2. So para later on, maging 1 yan pag dinivide ko. So yung ma-minus ko sa taas will be, tama, so minus 3. Di ba? Kasi 2 minus 3 will be negative 1. So makukuha ko yung negative 1 dun sa taas. So 2 minus 3 is negative 1. So dW plus dy is equals to 0. Yan, paghiwalayin natin yan, so W plus 2 over W plus 2, then minus 3 over W plus 2. So dW plus dy is equals to 0. And this one will become 1 minus 3 over W plus 2 dW plus dy is equals to 0. So now we can integrate. So 1 times dW is dW, so integral niya is W. Minus, this is 3 ln of W plus 2, and then dy will be y is equals to c. But what is W? X plus y. So we have then, so x plus y minus 3 ln of x plus y plus 2 plus y is equals to c. So pagsamahin na lang natin. So x, this is plus y plus y. That would make it plus 2y. Minus ln, taas ko na lang yon, x plus y plus 2 raised to 3 is equals to c. So yun yan. X plus 2y minus ln x plus y plus 2 raised to 3 is equals to c. Mas madali ang case 2 as compared sa case 1. So, solution niya. Pinakamahabang solution ng case 1. Kasi double substitution yun. No? Ang case 2, single substitution. So our last example. So again, this one will be A1 over B1 is it equal to A over B2. A1, so this is 6. Ito, negative 3. So it equal to, ito, wag mo na isama yung ano ya. So pabayaan mo lang negative doon. Then this would be positive 2. This is negative 1. 6 divides negative 3 is negative. Then 2 divides negative 2. For this is case 2. Case 2 pa rin siya. Kapag case 2 yan, ito route mo. So anong pwede natin route sa 6 minus y? So that y 6x divided, that would be 2x. Negative 3y divides negative y. Then plus 2 dx. Minus, sabihan mo na yon, 2x minus y minus 1 dy is equals to 0. So you can see here, 2x minus y, 2x minus to both. So therefore, we're going to let 2 is equals to 2x. So w is equal to 2x minus y. And then dw is equals to 2 dx minus dy. Kapag ganitong case, ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. Kasi yung kanina, di ba, ano tayo, dx is equals to dw minus dy. So in this case, ang may fraction, ang may coefficient kasi is yung 2. No? So yun naman sa palayan natin magkaroon ng fraction. Kaya ang gagawin natin, yung dy na lang, isa-substitute natin. So i-transpose dy, so that would become dx 2 minus dw. So para hindi tayo nagwo-work sa fraction. Although pwede naman. Siyempre, the more complex our solution, so the possibility that we can commit mistake. Kasi kung parehas na silang may numerical coefficient, so no choice na tayo. So let's say 1 is 2x, then plus 3y. So no choice tayo dito with fraction. Pero kung may choice naman tayo na hindi tayo mag-work sa fraction, then we resort to that. So ngayon, we substitute. So 3w dx and minus y is w minus 1. So dy 2 dx minus d is equals to 0. And next, so we combine dx, no? So that will become 3w dx plus 2 dx. This is negative w times 2 dx would be negative 2w dx. Then negative times negative would be positive 2 dx. Okay? So negative 2w dx and then negative negative positive 2 dx. Then lastly, so eto na lang. So negative times negative, so that would become positive w minus 1 times d is equals to 0. So yung buo, no, yung minus w minus 1 multiplied with negative w, it will become positive w minus 1 times dw. So 3w minus 2w dx, so will be w. Then 2 dx plus 2 dx, that would be plus 4. Plus 4 dx. And plus w minus 1 dw is equals to 0. So ngayon, anong in excess? W plus 4. So ito, okay lang yung sa w minus 1 dw. So we move down dx, then I'll have plus w minus 1 over w plus 4 dw. So ganun ulit yung gagawin natin. So w plus 4 over w plus 4. So anong susubtract natin para magkaroon tayo ng negative 1? 4 minus, ayun, so 4 minus 5. dw is equals to 0. So this is the same x. So, diretso ko na to, ha. That would be 1 over, oh, sorry, just minus 5 over w plus 4 dw is equals to 0. So this would be x plus w minus 5 ln w plus equals to c. But 2 minus 1. But w is equals to 2x minus y. X plus 2x minus y is 5 ln of 2x minus y plus is equals to c. So 3x minus y minus ln 2x minus y plus 4, 5, 6, c. And that's it.